Bereshis. The bays of Bereshis. Now, of course, there's a lot of discussion as to why the Torah begins with bays instead of an aleph. And one of many reasons is the fact that bays indicates, especially in the Indian of Tshuvah, that a person has another chance. Seeking b'Shabbos Shachris, Sham Karen l'Shabbos Mincha, V'Sheni V'Chamishi, and the following Shabbos, where we end off. It's our minute where we end off on Shabbos Shachris. When we read the Torah at Mincha, we get the same Kriya by Mincha is what we read on Yom Sheni, on Yom Chamishi, and then again on Shabbos. We don't continue. It's not as Rav Meir would say that you continue on. Wherever you ended on Shabbos morning, then of course you continue on Shabbos afternoon, and then you continue further on Monday, further on Thursday, and then further on Shabbos and continue. That's not the way we pass them. No, we repeat. Repeat again, repeat again, repeat again. So you have 4 different times that you repeated the Kriya. What's the indication? That people have generally a chance to repeat. And if a person didn't do so well the first time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us chances again. So it's interesting. That's part of the repetition of the Kriya, the same psukim, to emphasize that. That's one idea. Another idea of the bays is that if you take a look at the bays, you see there's an opening, large opening for the future. The back is closed. Again, the Yetzer Hara says, listen, you're thinking about the future. You failed once. You are a failure. You've been a failure in the past. There's no reason that you should do any better in the future. And we say, no, we're not going to look back. We're going to look forward. And that's it. You look forward. Now, for Shnetzer, of course, you have to look back to be able to make sure that there's charata, which we're going to assume there's certainly charata. As the Rambam would say, one of the 4 dvarim, no question. However, we're not going to emphasize the past. It's just like at the end of the bays, at the bottom, there's a little piece that juts out. They call it in Sforim an uketz. Then, it comes out. Fine, of course, you're going to think of the past. But the emphasis is the future. It's like, we're future-oriented. The fact is, there's Chassan Torah, we go on to Chassan Bereshis. A new beginning. And we don't allow, God forbid, that the Yetzer Hara should come and mamish make it, impossible for us to continue because we lose, our passion to going further. Chas v'shalom should not be. That's an idea. The last pasuk in the Chumash last week in Bereshis, the Noach Moshe Chen B'nei Hashem. So the Noach itself, in reverse, is the word Chen. Noach was Moshe Chen B'nei Hashem. So one of the Meforshim says that the Noach was Moshe Chen because he was always B'nei Hashem. Everything that happened in his eyes, he saw HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'nei Hashem. The simple pshat in pasuk is, in the eyes of God, he's found Chen. We're saying something else. That why did he find Chen? Because B'nei Hashem. Always, when he was successful, B'nei Hashem. When things happened to him that were not so, he was unsuccessful, B'nei Hashem. He always understood that whatever happened to him came from a HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ain't other maker that's bo no mata elim ken goes alav no mala. Nothing happens that's out of the realm of a HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, he understood it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, gave it to his credit. Now, interestingly enough, Noach for 120 years built the Teva. He was loichem keneged his generation all the time. That he fought. Now, the Zohar says that there is a complaint about Noach. He did not pray. He was shalom hispalel, for shalom lo bikesh racham al dobro. He didn't pray enough for them. So the question is like, why? Why did Noach now? Why was Noach not mispal? Why did he not pray adequately for the generation? So one of the reasons given by the Madani Shmuel is Rav Shmuel Shroivitz, my chavrus's father, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. He says that the Noach felt HaKadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't listen to him because he felt that he himself was only making it through chesed because the world is judged according to the majority. The Rambam says it clearly, the world goes after the majority, so therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu is only giving him this act of grace, keeping him alive. How can he possibly pray for anybody else and be heard? So that's a complaint against him. He should have davened. So the question is, why, if indeed HaKadosh Baruch Hu judges the world according to the majority, why did he last? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu save him? So one of the reasons is that when a person disassociates himself completely from the world, he's not judged according to the world. So it's true. HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes according to the majority in whatever way he decides, he's going to choose that approach. However, here is somebody who stayed totally isolated during that time, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu allowed him to live. Or he did a fantastic act of chesed, such kindness to keep all the animals and all the beasts alive for a whole year during that time that they were on the table. So the fact is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took that into consideration too. And you'll say, well, it didn't happen yet. What's there to take into consideration? All this happened before the Mabul itself. And one of the answers is the fact that, like the Rebbeinu Yonah says, when a person takes on a Kabbalah, I plan to do such and such, even if he hasn't done it yet, HaKadosh Baruch Hu accredits it to him. That's why people, even on Yom Kippur, could be able to benefit from, I'm going to do such and such. It makes a sincere resolution to do something. HaKadosh Baruch Hu credits it to him and, for the future. And it means the same thing for us too. A person could make a Kabbalah, could make and accept something to do, and it really means it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will consider it as if it's done, and therefore a person gets credit for it, even before he begins doing it, and of course, more and more as he actually does it. It's another idea. It's a very interesting point, that when you take a look at the Parsha, you see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Noach, I'm going to destroy the world. That's it. And he immediately said, I'm going to destroy Kate's called Basar Bala Funai, the time is ended, you're all going to die. Then he says, build an ark, build a teva, Vatsei Gopher. And then he says, I'm going to bring a mabul, I'm going to bring a flood. Question, why shouldn't he say, I'm going to destroy the world, I'm going to bring a flood, build an ark? And why does he say, I'm going to destroy the world, build an ark, I'm going to bring a flood? So the Moshe Feinstein says, well, Hashem, we want to hear something very clear and important. Noah did what he did not because he wanted to save himself. I'm going to bring a flood. Instead, he built an ark because Hashem told him. And that's the way we have to do our mitzvahs, because Hashem tells us to do it, not for any particular other reason itself. And therefore, that's why it says that Vayas and Noach did later in the pasuk the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded him. And you have the same thing by Avraham Avinu in next week's parsha, when Hashem says to him, Lech lecha mi'artzecha mi'moladecha v'esavicha v'haaretz ashereka, and I'm going to make you a great nation, and I'm going to give you fame and fortune, etc. And then later on in the pasuk it says, so the question is like, well, hey, if that's what the promise, so what's the big deal? That Avraham listened to Hashem, I would do it too, with all those promises. So that's what later on it says. Hashem says in Chumash, Vayas Avram kashes Tivir Lev Hashem. And Avram did it the way Hashem told him to do it, not because of any other ulterior motive. Same thing with Noah. Noah built the Teva, not because I'm going to be saved. He built the Teva because Hashem told him to do it. That's the derech that we do with mitzvahs. The last idea is the idea of Eila Toldos. So Rashi tells us that Toldoseim shall, of tzaddikim are their ma'asim tovim. What's the relationship between Toldos and ma'asim tovim? Number one, says Rav Moshe Feinstein, it's because just as we love our children, we want to love our mitzvahs. We don't do them because we have to do them. It's a burden, but I'm going to do it. No. I love it. Like I love my child. Number one. Number two, we want to see that the mitzvah is done. Zekeliya and Vehu. No matter how large, how small, if it's a mitzvah kala, mitzvah chamur, we want to do it in its best possible way, just like we see with our children. We want to be able to help them to be the best they can be and polish them the best way, of course, in the appropriate way. So the fact is with mitzvahs as well, the best possible way. And one of my Chavrusa, David Chernin, if he's listening tonight, he should be able to hear his names mentioned. The fact is, he said the idea with children is what's the relationship of mice and tovim and children? Our children watch us. When we perform our mitzvahs and mice and tovim in the way that we do, especially the best possible way, they will pick it up as well. And that's the way that we can be mechanech. A guten Shabbos.